Hello and welcome to Real Actors, Real Answers, the podcast where you are the star. Today, I would like to interview, and I have the privilege of interviewing a great actor, young actor, up-and-coming actor. He lives in Sherwood Oaks, California, Los Angeles, California. His name is Al Ortega, and I've been spying on him, like watching his IMDb and his reel. He's very good. He's really good, and I am just thrilled to interview him with you today. Al, how are you doing?
Thank you, David. I'm actually very thrilled to be talking to you, and I'm very honored to be in your show. So I appreciate that. Thank you.
You're welcome. I detect an accent. Where is that from?
Okay, I'm from Colombia, South America. That's where I was born.
How did you get involved in acting? And you're way over here in the US. How did that happen?
Yeah, well, it's a long story, but to make it shorter, I was born in a very small town in Colombia where theater was not very usual or the common thing to do. So I started doing like mini shows in my garage because I was always very good with like imitations, and I was always like making people laugh. So I used to do like a mini kids theater show, which we used to call the circus, like not very original. But anyways, it was just a show with the kids in my block, and we would play like random characters, and we would tape that. And that was kind of my first experience on theater. And then I went to high school where I would play like small roles, but it wasn't very big either. So my first character in theater was to play like a bunch of grapes on the stage.
Okay.
Yeah, I was so nervous, but I was under a mask, so I felt comfortable. But it was bad.
Hey,
But
it
it
was
was
your
fun.
first time out, and that sounds like it would be kind of fun. How old were you?
How old was I there? Probably like 9, 10.
9? Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So I'm fascinated by this. Colombia, it's a little ways away. How did you make the transition, or your family make the transition and decide that, hey, I'm going to move to California?
Well, I used to watch. I still do, but I've always been fascinated by movies and Hollywood movies and all the cinema worldwide. And I always knew Hollywood was in Los Angeles and the business was here. So from a very young age, I knew I wanted to move to Los Angeles. How? I don't know, but I needed to do it somehow. And I started learning English. When I was in school, I used to take several classes out of school just for that purpose, ever since, well, when I was a kid. And that's not very common to say to someone in a small town in Colombia that you want to move to Hollywood. It's just like the wildest, like crazy idea. But I've
Right.
always stuck with it because that's what was in my heart because of filmmaking. And I had a lot of stuff in the middle of that. Like for many years, I studied acting in Colombia and then filmmaking, and I did a bunch of stuff until I could make it here. Like to make that transition to here, which has been 7 years ago.
Do you like California?
Yeah, I do.
What do you like
It,
about it?
it's very different from Colombia. It's the culture is very, very different. But I enjoy the fact that there's a lot of people like me, like you and me. We understand each other. We're here for a reason, and it's a passion. It's beyond our beings. I don't know how to explain it, but that's what I
You
love about it.
you explained it perfectly because it's above your head, and you keep reaching and learning and growing, and there is no ceiling.
Yeah,
Who's your favorite actor or actress?
I have a bunch. That's a tough question, but I would I would say, oh man, obviously Marlon Brando. I love
Whoa.
Natalie. Yeah, I love Natalie Portman. I love Kate Blanchett. I love Kate Winslet. Those are like really,
Oh.
really like inspirational performances that they
You're
give.
t- you go for the greats. You go for quality. I like
Yeah.
that. Kate
Yes.
Blanchett, Marlon Brando. What do you know about Marlon Brando? What do
Well,
you like about him?
I know very little, but what I know, I'm fascinated. Like his transformations on the screen in obviously Streetcar Named Desire. It's, one of my favorite top performances, and I like the his ability to transform. I don't know, like he was very versatile. I don't know how to, I mean, it's just I feel like he's really good. I love Johnny Depp because he's very theatrical. This is
Right.
I admire his work because I love theatricality, and fun stuff. So I like him, like mainly those.
No, that's very good. You talk about Marlon Brando, and I was sensing you were searching for the right word. Um, I've been searching for that word for him for years. I know he studied Stanislavski, and he's always been, like you said, Streetcar Named Desire. I can watch it in numerous times, and it still shocks me. It pulls me back. That scene where
Yeah.
he clears the table and he's
Yeah.
yelling at the women. It's like,
Right.
okay, this is wow. What has been your favorite role so far in your career?
I've done a bunch in the theater that has been fun, but definitely one I'm playing right now for a TV pilot that we're working on, which is like a fun, clueless guy, and I enjoy that because I feel like I'm playing myself sometimes. So it's very fun. It's very funny, and I enjoy that one a lot.
Good. And I respect the fact that you can't say too much about it because it is a pilot, and you know,
Yeah,
there is closure, there is a lot of the legalities in there, and I appreciate that. What has been your most, if you've had one yet, most embarrassing moment on stage or in front of a camera?
definitely. I was doing a short film a few years ago for the New York Film Academy, and I wasn't prepared enough, which I was very hard on myself for that. And I wasn't prepared enough on that day, and I couldn't get the emotion that I needed right. So the producer had to talk to me, and then take me out of the building and talk to me and just trying to be nice with me and tell me, hey, you know what, you should do this, and you should be more of this and more of that. I was so out of my element. That was so embarrassing because, and I like, experiences like that happen to you so you don't go back to those, because I was feeling terrible. I was feeling like really mediocre, but it was because I was not prepared enough. I didn't take it seriously as I should have before and prepare my character. So that was really embarrassing for me.
Okay. What did
Yeah,
I always tell my students? Number one, I mean, you go for auditions, and that's what we do, right? It's not a rejection, it's a redirection. I'm
exactly.
not saying you feel bad, don't feel bad. Well, no, that's denying who you are. If you feel bad about a audition you didn't, win, acknowledge that, but then move on. Say, what did I learn from this, and how can I apply it to the next one?
Correct. Yeah.
Always keeping yourself afloat. I got to ask, because I'm fascinated by it. You moved from Colombia to Los Angeles. Your parents, were they 100% in, or do they live with you there, or are they still in Colombia?
Okay. Well, my parents are is still living in Colombia.
Okay.
Though they were actually the ones that never like kind of criticized my desire for becoming an actor. They were actually, I'm very very blessed with them because they've always supported me throughout the whole way. Even though I tell them all the time that I thank them and I appreciate that, even though they do not understand anything about what being an actor is, or they don't know anything about Los Angeles, or they just handed it to me, the opportunities that they could, so I could keep going, which I think that's very important, and I appreciate that, as opposed to the people that were around me or from my high school, or even some family members that would say that I should pick a different career, or like different advices. And
Sure.
also there's something that bothers me a lot in Colombia. Like I went through that experience when I would say that I wanted to become an actor, then a lot of people would tell me I should study communications and becoming a journalist or something involved with TV. And then I would ask why. And they would say, because that's related to TV. You know what I mean? Like, what a type of, like, this is so like far away from acting, but the mindset of not knowing, of lack of knowledge of each field of action or each career is. And what's more sad about it, a lot of young people that wanted to become actors, they have ended up in that trap. I call it a trap because I don't know what else to call it.
Why? Well, tell me, I'm right with you here, but I want to hear from you, not from me. Why do you call it a trap? Why do you define it like that?
Because if I would have let myself be driven by those comments, I wouldn't be doing my passion. And I know some people that wanted to become actors and they have ended up doing that career, and just because it's involved with the TV or with the media or something, and then they ended up getting jobs that they didn't like or enjoy. Or maybe also they did the right decision because acting weren't their full passion, I guess. I don't know. But for me, it would have been like a trap. I'm not the most successful person or anything, but one thing I know, I'm happy because I'm following what my passion is, and I didn't let myself to be driven by those comments or actions.
That's wonderful. I love your answer. How young are you?
How old you think I am?
23.
Close to that. Yeah.
How old are you? How?
Right. Okay, let's say 26. You know
26.
what I mean? Like,
okay,
yeah,
all right.
You know what I mean? Like, we're in Hollywood. You know
I
the
know,
code.
I know. But in here, this show is all about, yes, it helps you, but I want other people to hear, hey, you know what? If you are struggling here or in this area, here's a gentleman that can give you hands-on information, hands-on things. He's just like you. He has this dream and he has his struggles and challenges every day, right? Yeah. I could see you playing 19 to 27 myself,
I still have to show my ID when I buy liquor. So.
Oh, really? That's hilarious. Yeah. See, you have a lot to draw from in your lifetime towards characters. I can hear it. You're from another country, and you've already experienced the people that are looking out for you. Hey, you know what? Acting, get something safe. But like you said yourself, you wouldn't be happy. And when you get up in the morning and you know that you're an actor and you know that you're going on set and it's 4 a.m. or something like that, how do you feel?
I feel so blessed. I feel like my purpose on earth is fulfilled because I'm doing, whenever I'm playing a character, whenever I was imitating my aunts, my uncles, my cousins, I was feeling fulfilled. And that's the exact same feeling I feel when I'm filming my pilot TV show with a big star. That and it's definitely for me about doing what fulfills you. It doesn't necessarily it doesn't have to be acting. It could be anything you do has to feel that way. And I tell my mom, like, sometimes she's scared about me being alone in a different city because I came on my own. But I'm like, Mom, you know what? If I die tomorrow, know that I died happy because I was doing. It's not about what's coming. It's about what I'm doing right now. Like I'm living my purpose right now. That's what makes me happy. So I don't know if I answered your question, but
that's very deep. You're very introspective. I have never heard a 26-year-old man or woman say something quite like that. If I die tomorrow, I'll be happy. You have a mission. You know yourself. And sure, it's going to be ups and downs, but in any industry, doesn't everybody have that once in a while? I do. You know, and acting, for people that are aspiring, you may laugh at this, but is acting a lot of work sometime?
It's acting a lot of work. Definitely you have, okay, obviously speaking from my perspective, I wouldn't be doing acting if I wouldn't be dedicating my whole life to it. Like my whole life is dedicated to my career, away from everything, and working several, different jobs. And just for that, just for to come back home and be able to go to my play, to come read my play, to do my scenes. Obviously, you have to learn how to take breaks, because okay, what happened is at the beginning when you come to Los Angeles, for me that was the biggest thing ever to move to Los Angeles. When I did, I was the happiest person on earth. And then when I would get auditions and be in a background on a TV show or do this or do that, I was just so happy and waiting a lot. I was just like, okay, I'm going to be very anxious. I'm feeling very anxious because I did an audition. I want to know what's next. I want to know if they're going to call me. And I would think about it all the time. And a lot of us go through that, because I've spoken to many actors, like starting actors like me. And then we all start there. But as the year passed by, I don't even care like anymore. I just go there, present what I do. I enjoy my moment, and then I just walk away, and whatever happens happens. And some things have happened when and I don't become anxious anymore, or yeah.
I like that. Because that's confidence, wouldn't you say?
Well, to be honest with you, I'm very insecure. Like myself, I'm someone insecure, and I've worked with that feeling in a very healthy way, because in the past I would try to hide my insecurities, right? And so I would like to trick people, even in my personal life, or being doing acting or being in an audition. I wanted to look so cool and all that. But you know what? I learned that I'm happier when I'm not. I'm happier when I tell you, hey, you know what? I'm insecure, and I've been insecure in some aspects of my life. And as you talk about it, and as you become vulnerable, I feel like you're becoming stronger. And ironically, that insecurity is just fading. It just fades when you present it. It's just like ironic.
I love how you talk. I love how you talk. That's amazing.
I
You talk like
appreciate
I
it.
coach. You talk like I coach. I love acronyms. And what you just said is one of my acronyms. In fact, it's on my YouTube channel. Always coach truthfully. ACT, act. Always coach truthfully. Now, for an actor, it's always choose truthfully. If you're not true to yourself and don't know your weak points, work on your strong points. But if you don't know the vulnerabilities of yourself, how are you supposed to know the vulnerabilities of a character, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Wow. Now I understand all the books that you have.
Yeah. 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 Since I've always been like, I'm a dreamer. I say I always follow the meditations, like vision boards and all that, because I'm very spiritual. I'm a Christian. I whenever I say I'm a Christian, I like to clarify that I'm not the perfect Christian at all. It's just like, because when you say, hey, you know what, I'm a Christian, people immediately think you're the saint guy in church. And no, and my Christianity is my most important thing in my life, my relationship to God, you know. And I do whatever I do. And also in my personal life, I've tried, as with acting, I've tried like overcomes, like, what they call sin, about doing, what anything, aspects of life, I don't know. And then I got to a point where, like, I cannot control everything, because I was trying to control everything in my life, and I just let go. And God is greater than us, and He knows what He's doing. And when we put our lives in His hands, things start to happen. And the most important thing is that you receive peace in your heart, that you're doing your best. And now when you have peace in your heart, you can go to sleep, happy, and you sleep well when you have peace in your heart. I don't know.
It's true, because no, you're right on the mark. I tell you, it's God's grace, which is actually God's power. And He loans it to you for a while, i.e. your acting and your ability to envelop into a character and entertain people, make them think, and make them, I don't say make, okay, influence them to think, influence them to use their emotions and to follow their own dreams. Because you don't know, you're on screen or on stage, and thousands, if not millions of people see you over time. You're going to affect every single person like that. Somehow they're going to be affected. It's a big responsibility.
Yeah, definitely. It is. And even when you're following your dreams, in my case, a lot of people tell me that they have been influenced by me at some point, on the fact that I actually follow what I wanted to follow. And I decided to be happy. So people call me, like friends call me, and I feel really sad when they call me and say, you know what, I have 3 kids already, and my dreams died. I just have to provide for them. That's my life now. You know what I mean? Like, and some other people, even my mom, we talked one day, and I asked her, okay, did you do what you were feeling most passionate about? And she was like, no, I just did whatever was, whatever. You know what I mean? Like, and they lived that life. And I wanted to avoid that at all costs. Or at least tell people that whoever calls me, just tell them that just do whatever makes them happy, and make money off of it. But don't follow acting. If you want to be an actor, you need to be positive. Don't follow acting, because this is not a way to make money.
Well, that's true. I mean, it's an individual choice. You'd sound like you have this plan A, but you're avoiding, as they quote, like plan B. Because if you have a plan B, oh well, and then subconsciously, well, if this doesn't work out, I'll go here.
Exactly.
No. What you said was so true. And even then, I don't know everybody. You don't know everybody, but what you said was powerful. And this was this. Hey, I have 3 kids now, and this is what I do. I must provide for them. Family first, absolutely. However, can you take 30 minutes before you go to bed and study a YouTube video? Can you connect with somebody online or read a book? Like, I love your books. Can you do something to enrich your life so it can spill over onto your family? You can do that. It's what we think, whatever we believe, that's what we gravitate towards. It's like you, Colombia, and you moving by yourself. You have a great parents. They sound great. But you moving there, some people wouldn't admit it, but they would be scared. I would be scared. I moved from Michigan to New York by myself. I thought I was on a different planet. When I moved back here, I'm going back. But would you say you're very brave?
I think I'm brave to what I feel like doing. I would be a coward on doing something that I wouldn't like to do. I mean, yeah, I'm brave for what I want, in other words.
I like it. I suspected that would be your answer, because I'm starting to understand you more. It's a real privilege to talk to you today.
Yeah, and actually I can tell what you're an acting coach, and I can tell you're a good acting coach, because you mentioned the plan B thing, and actually that's what I talk about all the time. I tell everyone, I've never had a plan B. It might be the stupidest thing ever, but I don't have a plan B. And then you brought it up. Like, you are very perceptive. You're very that's what coaches do, and I love that. I've had the privilege of having good coaches as well. And it's very enriching for an actor to have a coach and to have someone that knows how to some way read through them. And I can tell you do
Yeah.
that, and I'm proud of that.
Well, thank you. I wouldn't expect that. Thank you very much for saying that. Um, that's all I think about. You know, I'm an actor as well. You know, I love to act. I figure if you're going to do something to teach others, you better be in it yourself too. You know, you go to a
There you go.
surgeon, it's like a heart surgeon. Ah, well, I'm going to try my best with what's going on here, but I haven't done this in a few years. It's like, what?
Yeah. Yeah,
No.
there you go. That's what I mean. Like you're
Yeah.
in it. I can tell that you're in it from the very bottom of it. Like I can tell that.
Thank you. I'm obsessed in a good way with people in the industry, and I thank you. Now I have a question for you. Would you like to give a shout out to anybody out there that has been a big part of your life, that has supported you and are continue to support you? Because it's all about knowing people. I mean, it is.
Definitely. Obviously my parents, because of what I told you. In Los Angeles, since you want to do this video for actors, I want to share a little bit of an experience that I had when I recently moved to Los Angeles. I was lost. I mean, I knew I wanted to become an actor, but I was absolutely lost on everything. Like I had no idea what to do. I started going for background jobs. I started going for um, acting workshops, and I didn't know about even about headshots, and then even about types. I had no idea on that because in Colombia, in my acting schools, they didn't talk about that. They were just talking about theater, but they were not talking about the business part of it. So if I could turn back time, which is not gonna happen, but I like to tell everyone that's starting is that find out your type, get a lot of acting classes, because for me finding my type, my image, what roles I'm good for, it took me years, and I'm still finding that out because I haven't, but I went through a lot of bad photos, and like I was like very dressed up for headshots, you know what I mean? Like that is so far away from who I am. So that's a part of that journey. Also, I my biggest frustration was not being present in the moment when I would make a scene. That was one of my biggest enemies because I've had auditions where I was so embarrassed, as I told you in that experience, that I wasn't fully in the moment. I was faking emotions. When you're an actor, when you try to be an actor and you fake emotions, it's not going to take you anywhere. And I felt the biggest failure many times because I was so frustrated with not knowing. And my salvation, I always say, is that it's also like a hit of destiny, because I never win raffles or anything, and I won a raffle on an actors event that months later they called me that I had won like free classes for Meisner training, right? So I went in there. I obviously fell in love with that. So my acting coach at the moment, which her name is Irene Muzzy, in here in Los Angeles, in the actors workout studio that I was at that moment, she recommended me a book that I wanted to show you. I'm sure
Mhm.
you've heard of it. The Actors. It's called The Actors Art and Craft by it's based off on the Meisner technique. So this book like literally saved my life in terms of like my performances, because I became so truthful, and this book gave me that direction. After I did that, I started booking more short films for schools and more like theater gigs and all that. And all of a sudden, anywhere I would go, or anywhere I still go, like any acting workshop, they call me as the good one. And I that's the last thing I was expecting to be called before. So now they want to work with me because I'm in the moment, so yeah, I'm so proud of that. And then I went to a different acting classes, and I met a friend called Kim Hopkins, which is she's a producer. She has her own classes. She's been a model for a long time, and she's like the most generous acting coach I've ever met. Because when you go to acting classes, especially in Los Angeles, everybody's just like in their own little world. And she would take, she was so sweet because she would take like snacks for everybody, and she would tell personal stories. It felt very personal. We became very good friends, and now we're actually working together. But I've learned a lot from her. So people like that, it's I'm very proud of having my life.
You're very genuine. I like that about you.
Oh, thanks.
And
Appreciate it.
I'm going to get that book. I have a lot of books too, Meisner books, but that one I do not have. And how you described it,
Oh, okay.
it sounds life-changing, actually.
Yeah, it has been for my craft, definitely. And then there's a second part, and then there's a second part that's called the actor's guide on creating a character, which is this is based of a class on a period of 2 years. So each book is it's a year,
If someone would like to get a hold of you, how would they do that?
What I'm sorry. Okay. So one of my insecurities is that I don't I've been speaking English very badly. I know that.
Okay, let me explain.
Yeah.
On social media, through your website, through your agent, if they wanted to get a hold of you, they wanted you for a role, or they were interested in just talking to you or connecting with you, how would they go about that? Where would they find you?
Okay, well, I'm on Facebook, I'm on Instagram, I'm also on IMDb, and usually when I've gotten like any big auditions, it's been through my agents. So they are the one who text me or call me for that.
Okay, all right. May I ask what the agent? You have an agent. Who would that be?
Okay, I signed with Sovereign Talent Group in Westwood, so I have two agents, Luli and Tracy, and they work with like the big people and all. But I don't usually get a lot of auditions, like maybe 4 or 5 a year for bigger projects. So, and I'm also a non-union actor, so I'm trying to build my resume on different places, classes, and I like to train and act for the camera a lot, because that's another thing. I'm very loud sometimes. My expressions are like way too much sometimes. So you have to learn a little bit more of how you are on camera. And I'm still on that process. I'm a mess most of the time.
Very true. I mean, you ever see The Truman Show with Jim Carrey?
Yeah.
Okay. People, there's not a camera following you everywhere you go, So it does take practice to be comfortable in front of that camera.
Yes, that's true. And trust me, I'm not proud most of the time of what I see.
You are a delight. You are a lot of fun. Your integrity is through the roof. I'm so glad that we took a chance, took time today to do this.
Oh no, I'm so honored. Like someone like you with your experience. I like to learn from people like you, and I like to learn from people around me. And I'm very honored to be talking to you, and I feel very grateful for this for this moment, for this time right here.
I appreciate that. I really do. I'm going to let you go, and I'm going to keep a sharp eye on you, on your IMDb. Everybody, Al Ortega, IMDb, watch his acting reel. It's phenomenal. And so thank you very much for being on Real Actors, Real Answers.
Thank you. And I'll invite you to watch my TV show when it comes out, because it's going to be coming out soon with Abigail Breslin and Kim Hopkins. It's going to be called The Cannibals.
Okay. All right.
All right.
Thank you. I look forward to it.
So you can watch it.
All right. God bless.
All right. Thank you, Dave.